What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to talk about where I see the share price going based off technical analysis and what my price prediction is going forward. I'm also going to talk about why the market was red today, what the Fed just announced that's very important, what the news is saying about NIO, and what NIO put on their Twitter page that makes me very bullish for the future of this company. Now, before I break any of this down, before I talk about the technical analysis aspect of NIO and what the share price should be doing, I do have to mention a couple of very important things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the WeBull link down below and in the description. You sign up for WeBull with my link down below and deposit any amount of money, whether it's $1 or $100. It's really up to you. You are guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. Once again, that's free money. You could always sell these free stocks and buy some NIO shares with that money. This is a limited time offer that ends in 2 weeks. So please check out the offer below to get your 5 free shares, which you could use to get some free NIO stocks. So please check that out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, we are currently down about 5.79% for the day. We did have a bit of a red day today. I did actually talk about my previous video how I did see us dropping to about the 22.5 range, finding support and then getting that bounce and continuing on this upward trend. Now, I was correct about us testing this range, but instead of getting that bounce, we ended up dropping below it. And that's something that I guess next to no one could have predicted because of what the Fed had just announced out of nowhere. And what the Fed is doing is they are announcing more potential or more preparation for hawkish policy changes because of what's happening with inflation and energy prices in the markets and in the US and etc. So what do I see happening to the market? Well, the SPY is red, the NASDAQ is red. I mean, we're seeing red all over the place. Tesla was down like 4.7%. I mean, there's so much red. I mean, it's just something that happens because of all the fear that's kind of spreading. And as a result, NIO got caught up in this. This is not NIO's fault. So look at the fear and greed index. The market used to be kind of like in the 50s, a little bit more on, it was on neutral, but closer to the greedy side. Now it's moving towards the fearful side. The market's becoming fearful because of this right here. We could see right over here, these articles are coming out as the Dow Jones, it's down about 200 points. We're seeing the NASDAQ drop 2% because investors fear rate hikes will slow the economy, and that there is truth behind that, but we need some context too. So basically what happened was the Fed Reserve Governor Brainerd basically indicated that the central bank could take a more aggressive approach to tightening its policy. So as a result, this means that the Fed could become a lot more stricter. We could see higher basis point rate hikes, maybe a 50 basis point rate hike soon to address inflation that's really getting out of hand. And this is not necessarily becoming a matter of if, it may become a matter of when because of how severe and out of control inflation is becoming. So as a result of this did cause the market to take a bit of a hit. I mean, I'm sorry, it's right over here. The market did take a bit of a hit and NIO got caught up in that. So what do I see NIO stock doing next? Now, this doesn't mean that the fear is over yet. We could see a little bit more downside before we get that bounce. So for NIO, this is what I think is going to happen. So we could just disregard this upward trend that we were on previously, just temporarily. And let's actually talk about support and resistance levels. So I'm going to talk about what are the key levels of support and resistance. So going forward, I did mention this in previous videos, and some people did not like to hear this, but we had a gap down here that would have taken us to about 22 bucks a share. I also talked about how if we did fill the gap, we'd get that bounce after, and that is what my next target is. I think we're going to fill this gap right here down to about 22 bucks a share, and we could end up dipping a little bit below it, similar to this move right here. You guys can see how we dipped a little bit below that $22 mark. Then we started to soar and ascend to the upside after that. So that is what I think is going to play out for NIO. Now, let's look at some other technical indicators that are actually giving us some very similar outlooks. You could see this similar setup right over here. We had this bearish price action followed by a good move to the upside as we had big pieces of news come out. Now we have that gap fill, which is going to bring us down. And the question is, where are we going to find support, right? Well, right now it is showing that we're most likely going to see a continuation. We're most likely going to drop a little bit more tomorrow in the beginning. RSI is also like dropping a little bit. So we're probably going to see a continuation. we're going to find support, it's a little bit hard to tell because it could really be somewhere within this range. I would say between it looks like 2158 might be the low point either there, or I would say around the 2090 range, the high 20s. So somewhere between that range, the high 20s, I'm sorry, the 20.9 range is what I'm trying to say. Like around the 20.90 to the 21.58 is probably where we're going to find our very strong support. And I don't see us bouncing way, way, way lower than that. I mean, the absolute lowest I think we'd go to is this right here, about the $20 range. But like I said before, we should get a bounce right there. Now, we do have another gap down here at 1993. I mean, I don't necessarily think we're going to fill that gap for a long time. I don't even see that us dropping that low. That would be very surprising if we actually went that low. And even if we did drop that low, then that is where we could get our bounce. But that's, like I said, extremely unlikely. It's very extreme for us to drop that low, in my opinion, considering the fact that we have this upward momentum that's building up. And I see this as a temporary pullback for the market, right? It's expected. I don't see this lasting forever. It could last another few days before we get that bounce. So that's what I'm looking out for. So for my price prediction for tomorrow, I predict we're going to drop to the $22 range, fill the gap, drop a little bit below that, and then find a balance between, I said 2150s, and between there and 2080 to 2090, somewhere like within that range. So somewhere within this range right here, I see a bounce coming. And once we get that bounce, we should move back into this channel, and we should stay around the 22 range, maybe a little below that. So that's what I see happening. A little bit of red after we fill the gap, but then going forward, I do expect us to see more bullish price action continuing for the next upcoming weeks and months, because I don't see this, a bear market sort of move. I don't see us in a bear market. I just think this is a temporary pullback, and we are going to recover quite quickly. Now, I also want to talk about this news that came out. You could see right here, NIO is in talks to license its battery swap stations to other automakers as it expands to Europe and the US. And that to me is just incredible. I mean, they are taking away the pain of having to charge your EV for that many hours. And I know maybe it's going to speed up in the future, sure, but this is also very convenient. It's going to be very amazing for the next decades to come. And to me, this is amazing, amazing news because of the fact that they make their own battery swap stations as part of their business, and now they're talking about licensing them so that they could allow other manufacturers to be a part of this network, and that's going to be very good for their connections, their networking, their expansion. It's amazing things that they're working on, especially as they expand to other countries. So this could be something that a lot of EVs start to incorporate into their system, and NIO is leading the world at this. To me, it's absolutely incredible, and that's one of the reasons why I'm still very, very bullish. Now, another thing that NIO put on their Twitter page, which I consider to be very, very awesome, and they're reminding us, is the ET7. I made a video about this not too long ago. That is their amazing design, how incredible it's going to be, and the fact that it is expanding their deliveries, their numbers, and it's looking very, very good right now. So I'm super excited for this. I can't wait for what the delivery numbers show, and I'm still very bullish for the long-term future, even though this thing's a little bit down. Remember, we rarely ever drop as low as where the 48 EMA is. So who knows? We're most likely not going to drop extremely, extremely hard. I just see us finding support and bouncing right off. I wouldn't consider that a massive crash, and I'm still very excited for the future. So don't lose faith. Don't be worried. I gave you guys my analysis and my prediction. So please make moves based off your own DD as well. Don't just look at what I'm saying. Please do your own research and get ready for tomorrow, because I see a very, very, very volatile move day full of moves coming. Anyways, thank you. Have a great rest of the day. NIO to the moon, and peace out.